Are you ready to try your hand at placing your very first stock trade? Then check out our free guide, 10 Steps to Choosing Your First Stock to Trade, the Ultimate Beginner's Guide. In this free download, you'll learn how to choose the right kinds of stocks and how to find them, know when to buy your stocks and when to sell them, and you'll learn how to take your very first steps to becoming a stock trader and much more. Grab your free guide now by going to TRADEway.com/guide. That's TRADEway.com/guide. Hey guys, I'm David Mitchell, founder and CEO of TRADEway. What if God himself gave you a blueprint for how to handle your money? Well, the Bible is a practical book. Let's dive in and see what it has to say about wealth, about risk, about leverage, and about investing, and uncover how trading in the stock market can be a powerful tool for moving towards your biggest goals. We're so happy you're here. This is The Word on Investing. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. A person asked me once, how do I get started with stock trading when I have no experience? Well, I think that is a fantastic question because that's where most people really are. And so let me give you some thoughts on that. The first thing I would say is that you need to know trading does not work like you think it does. So why is that? Well, it's funny. That's point number one, but point number one is over because it's the rest of the points that create that problem. For example, the reason trading doesn't work like you think it does is because, point number two, trading does not work like the world tells you that it works. For example, your family and friends, they'll say things like, here's a hot stock I've heard about, you need to get in this one. Or they'll say, well, Bitcoin is the way to go. And they're telling you that like 4 years after it's too late to get into Bitcoin, okay? And the stock that they tell you that they've heard of is who knows where they heard of it, right? I mean, did they hear about that from a friend? And normally it's because someone thought it was going up, and that's because the big boys were out there on Wall Street driving it up. They're just about ready to take profits right at the time your friend is telling you you should be buying it. So they're selling it to you. Is that good? No, that will never work. All right. And then the friends and family will say, well, penny stocks, man, that is a fantastic idea because you can buy stocks for 32 cents a share. And when it goes up to $2, you're rich. Well, let me tell you something. I learned a long time ago the hard way. You don't want to mess with penny stocks. They're on what we call the pink sheets. They're not even listed on the major exchanges, and they're not regulated by the SEC like everything else is. So a lot of what you hear that you think is news is a fabrication. So you don't want to be in penny stocks, but yet you'll hear from family and friends all the time, yeah, jump into penny stocks. It's a great way to get rich quickly. Well, when you hear that phrase, get rich quickly, you might want to kind of think twice about it anyway, right? And then the next thing they'll say, well, day trading, that is the way to go, man. You can Google it and they will just teach you how to day trade right there and you can just jump out there and do it. And the problem with that is that it's not true because the fact is when you try day trading, and I'm talking about real day trading by the true definition, which means you get in and out of the same play in the same business day. The reason that's not going to work for you over a 3-year period is because you're competing against the best traders in the world, which are the market makers. And you can't beat them because they're getting news anywhere from a second to 20 minutes before you get the news, and you're just not going to beat them. They're better than you are. You'll think you're making money, but you won't notice that you're losing about the same that you're making, and then over a 3-year period, you made nothing, right? So that doesn't work. And yet, friends and family love that idea of day trading. And the next thing they'll go into is, well, Forex and currencies is the way to go. It's just so easy. The software pretty much does it for you. Well, there's a problem with that, I think, in the math behind that. And I think you may find out the same thing. You'll make a bunch of money and you'll lose a bunch. And after 3 years, you haven't made a profit. You broke even at best. And I'll talk more about why that's true in a minute. But I'm just covering these ideas that different people give you that make you think you know how trading works when it really doesn't work that way. Now you've got the whole area of commodities as well. And I think, the same problem there that I'm going to discuss later on why these kind of things aren't so great. So I believe in general for beginners, the very best thing is U.S. stocks and specifically growth stocks. We'll talk about that more in a minute, what that means. Stocks that have great fundamentals and or stock options on those same stocks. I think that's the best way to go. The next reason that stock trading doesn't work like you think it does is because it doesn't work like your college or university told you that it does. So if you go into a business school or even an MBA program, what they teach you about investing is totally different than the way trading actually works. They're going to teach you that the only mathematical way to make money is to buy and hold for long periods of time. And that is one way to make money, but it's not the only way to make money. And it's certainly not the best and fastest way to have potential to make money that counts now, before you're 70 or 80 or 90 years old. So they teach you that as if it's the only way in the world to trade or to invest. And not only is that not true, but it's not the best way anymore. And we can talk about that in more detail too. But that's what you're going to get there. You're going to get the idea of value stocks, cheap stocks, buy them cheap, let them go up over a long period of time, perhaps your entire lifetime. They'll tell you that Warren Buffett just never sells his stocks. That way he saves on tax money and he buys and holds. Yeah, but what they don't tell you is he didn't start that way when he had no money and he pooled the money of doctors and lawyers into a stock club. He started by trading, not by long-term buy and hold, or he never would have created the millions that he needed to turn into billions. So he didn't start that way. It is true that he's a buy and holder now, but he started out trading. He bought Coca-Cola stock and he traded by writing calls on the dips. That's trading, not buy and hold. So, you learn wrong things out there in the world, even in the business schools. And in the business school, they're going to teach you it's all about running ratios, fundamental analysis. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not all about that. In fact, that's the most boring part. In fact, that can be done for you by TRADEway. If you got to TRADEway.com, you check out the programs we have. Almost anything you acquire at TRADEway is going to include a basket of the right kind of growth stocks with great fundamentals that gets refreshed monthly, and it's done for you. So the very thing they want you to spend gazillions of dollars to go to their college and learn how to run ratios, you don't have to even do it anymore. It's done for you. So a lot of times trading just simply doesn't work how you think it works because you've been misled by friends and family, even business schools, and by the world system in general. So this buy and hold mindset, there are some amazing traders out there in the world you can read about that never agreed with it even 10 years ago, even 40 years ago, even 50 years ago. There were people that didn't believe that it was all about fundamentals and all about value stocks. There were people who believed in growth stocks and trading. A great one is Jesse Livermore. And I've given you quotes from him because he's one of my favorite traders as far as reading about the life of great stock traders. And he said, some great things about the fact that you don't have to be in the market all the time. What does that imply? I mean, that's one of his quotes. Well, that implies he's getting in and out of the market. That's trading, not long-term buy and hold, right? And he said the sitting in the waiting is the most fun part. That means a lot of times in fact, most of the time, he's out of the market. He's in cash. And he's waiting for the, quote, perfect time when he felt like everything lined up, when it was good to jump in and do some plays and then get back out. And that's totally different than what you learned by the world system or in school and all that. It has more to do with understanding great trading principles. Another person besides Jesse Livermore that's been big in my life is William O'Neill, who is the owner and editor of the Investor's Business Daily, which I prefer over the Wall Street Journal. I think it's great because it's more geared towards traders rather than long-term investors. But he is an amazing person who built his everything on the skill sets of trading stocks, not buy and hold. Now, remember, we're never talking about some of the things we mentioned a while ago, like day trading. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about learning to look at the little lifestyle of certain stocks that you want to trade and look at the patterns that they make by learning how to be good at charting and learn how to let the stock tell you when to get in and out. And at TRADEway, we teach you all about that. I mean, that is the main thing with us. And so go out to TRADEway.com, check out the different programs and all these educational programs. Not only are they going to teach you these skill sets, but we're going to hold your hand while you start doing them because it's a little frightening at first to punch the button on your first stock trade. We have coaches that'll do that with you. We have live webinars. We have things going on where students together with great coaches can actually choose stocks together and things like that. So go out and check that stuff out because it's going to make a huge difference in helping you learn what really works as opposed to what the world tells you works. Peter Lynch is another great name I think of. He wrote a great book called One Up on Wall Street. And in that book, he argued the point that the average person, if they would gain skill sets, they could do better than the average financial advisor can do with your money. And I believe he was right. And Lynch managed the legendary Magellan Fund for Fidelity. That fund earned 29.2% annually over the lifetime that he ran it. That's more than twice what the S&P did during that time period. So this man knows what he's talking about. And he talks a lot about sort of midterm trading, not long-term buy and hold and not day trading, but like plays that last maybe anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months, things like that. So it's more to do with trading and understanding how that works than giving your money to other people and letting them lose it for you, that sort of thing. So when you're starting out and you don't have experience, first thing you need to know is trading doesn't work like you think it does. Trading doesn't work like the world tells you it does. That includes friends and family. That includes your college and university business schools. And the third thing I think you understand is that there are factions out there, not all that different than denominations in church. I mean, used to the Methodist and the Baptist would have one big meeting in the summer, an evangelistic meeting in the summer, and all meet together. Now, no, everything's done separately, right? So you have these factions. Well, investors are kind of similar. You have two major groups, and it's almost as if they hate each other and they think the other group is totally stupid, right? So you have value investors and you have growth investors, and they don't like each other. The truth is, there is value in both. And at TRADEway, we teach how both concepts work and when you use each of them. And actually, they work together. Now, we do lean towards growth investing as opposed to value investing, but there are times when you do value investing. Now, let me just tell you in a nutshell what we're talking about. Value investors are people that look at the price earnings ratio more than anything else, which means they want to get a stock that's cheap right now and buy it while it's cheap, hoping that it'll go up over a long period of time and then they can make their money that way. Now, most business schools, most textbooks, most things out there in the world system, like on the internet, when you Google investing, most email lists that will send you a list of stocks, they're sending you value stocks. That's really not the best kind to be trading with. They're better for more long-term investing. And so if you're getting a list of stocks that aren't the right kind and you're trying to learn to trade, it's really not helpful. What you want to look for, and what we do at TRADEway, is we give you a basket of growth stocks. Now, what's the difference between a growth stock and a value stock? Let's look at Coca-Cola, for example. When Warren Buffett started out, he was a trader and he was trading Coca-Cola stock. But back then, Coke isn't like it is now. Now, Coca-Cola is all over the world. Back then, it was just here in the United States, and it was growing rapidly. It wasn't in India yet. It wasn't in China yet. It wasn't in Africa yet. It wasn't in Europe yet. And yet, it was headed that direction. So it's growing. It's a growth stock. That's the time in the lifetime of a stock you want to be trading. And that happens to be when Warren Buffett made his first wealth, was with a growth stock. Now, Coca-Cola is not a growth stock. So see, what would happen is if you got a mailing list, they would probably send you Coca-Cola as one of the great stocks to be looking at. Totally wrong. You want to look at the new Coca-Colas, right? You want to look at the new Walmarts. What is the next Walmart? What is, you don't even recognize it as an awesome, huge blue chip company. You don't want to be looking at blue chips. You want to be looking at the next blue chip, the one that's going to grow and be that someday. That's a growth stock. So at TRADEway.com, most of our great programs out there are going to include various baskets of stocks with great fundamentals that are growth stocks, the best growth stocks in the world, and that's what you want. Now, at TRADEway, we don't really teach either or. It's not like value or growth, because think about it. If you have a market crash, it takes all of the great companies down. Now you can do value investing because all the stocks are cheap. That's value investing as opposed to growth investing. So even your great growth stocks will be at a good value. So you're actually doing some of both, the best of both worlds. And another thing we teach at TRADEway is you need to not focus on just charting, which is what a lot of growth investors do, where they're just looking at a chart, nor do you need to just look at fundamentals like the value investors do. You need to have 3 legs on the trading table, and you've heard me say it a million times, but it's fundamentals, technicals, and market tone. All 3 legs need to say go before you jump into a trade. Fundamentals tells you the company is a great company with great products and great leadership, and that's what you're going to find in the baskets of stocks that TRADEway provides for you. Secondly, our educational system is going to make you really good at technical analysis, where you can see the emotions of the group of people that are trading particular stocks. You can actually see the emotions of that stock and when it goes up and down and where it has support lines and resistance lines. We'll teach you how to draw those correctly. And this is the charting component. But remember, it can't be the only thing. It has to work together with good growth stocks with great fundamentals. And then there's the market tone, the third part. I always list it third, but it's really the most important, is you don't want to be trying to do an up play like buying a stock or buying a call option when the market is sad and down and blue and negative. You want to do it when the market's happy. So we will teach you how to know when the market tone is right as well. In fact, we'll do that for you the first 2 or 3 years or forever, really. It's called market alerts, and we send those out daily. You can take advantage of that. Some of our greatest traders that have been with us the longest, they still get those market alerts because they want to know what we're thinking. They kind of know how to do market tone, but they want to know what we think the market tone is. And I think that's great because we've got so many years of experience at TRADEway. All right. So as far as how we get started, trading doesn't work like you think it does. It doesn't work like you're told that it does by the world system. And you've got these different factions out there. You need to know what's what. And basically, we're going to steer you towards growth investing because that's better for trading. And we want to get the 3 legs on the trading table: fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and market tone. And the last thing is this. It's a vast world out there, the trading/investing world. It really is big. And so most people think you have to be a rocket scientist to do this, and it's simply not true. You just need a system. And all of our programs are going to give you something built on our TRADEway system. We're going to keep it simple at first. You're going to have a great trading system. You're going to learn to work that system and not let your emotions get involved, but work the system. So just go out to TRADEway.com and take advantage of any of those great educational programs. They're all going to teach the same system that starts out simple and it builds line by line more and more skill sets as you go all the way out and take advantage of the ones you want to know how to do. And really, it's a system, and we provide you with the tools, the skill sets, and the support that you need to learn to do this yourself. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. I hope it's been encouraging to get you to take a step to get started. So go out to TRADEway.com, check all that stuff out. We will work with you. You'll never be alone. You'll have great coaches. You'll have live webinars, all kinds of things where we'll hold your hand and get you started. And if you like this show, please rate and review it so other people that are like-minded can find it. We can be a help to them too. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.